This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Clear.
I'm Christopher Cruz in Washington. Horror in Seoul, South Korea. At least 151 people, and possibly many more, are dead in a Halloween celebration.
It wasn't immediately clear why the crowd surged into a narrow downhill alley near a hotel. A survivor said many people fell and toppled one another like dominoes after being pushed by others. By the end, rows of bodies lined the streets of Seoul's leisure district. President Biden and the First Lady issued a statement expressing their deepest condolences to the families who lost loved ones in Seoul. They wrote, "The U.S. stands with the Republic of Korea during this tragic time." Christian Benavides, CBS News.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has made her first public comment since the vicious attack on her husband in their San Francisco home Friday morning.
I'm Peter King. The Speaker's first public comments come from a letter to congressional colleagues. She thanks them for their outpouring of support and good wishes. She also thanks first responders for their quick action after the attack and says her husband Paul's condition continues to improve. She also quotes a Bible verse from the book of Isaiah, which she says has comforted her. In part it says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you." Peter King, CBS News.
President Biden said he'll spend his time before the midterms telling Americans about the Democrats' vision for the
I'm going to
country.
be spending the rest of the time making the case that this is not a referendum, it's a choice, a fundamental choice, a choice between two very different visions for the country.
Russia is suspending its participation in a deal negotiated by the UN to export grain from Ukraine. Exports had stopped after Russia invaded Ukraine in February. President Biden calls Russia's withdrawal from the deal outrageous. He says it will increase starvation. Russia blames a major Ukraine. Waterhouse.
In terms of what the Russians are saying about this, they're not casting any light on just how much has been damaged. We have just had a response from Ukraine's military, which typically doesn't comment when Crimea is struck in this way, but it said 4 vessels have been damaged, and it's blamed Russia's faulty air defense systems, but all signs point to a very deliberate and targeted strike on Russia's Black Sea fleet, which has been used to launch missile attacks across Ukraine on its infrastructure.
No winner announced yet in the Powerball drawing. This is CBS News.
Brought to you by Clear, a faster, easier way through airport security. Try today for 2 months free by visiting clearme.com/CBS22 or use code CBS22.
Oil investments involve a high degree of risk and actual results may vary. Are you getting hit hard by the IRS and worried about all your profit going to pay for taxes? Make an investment that can potentially pay you passive income for up to 20 or more years, and it will provide a 100% write-off on your taxes in the first year. That's the sound of a producing oil well and the sound of a smart investment. If you are a SEC accredited investor, you can take advantage of Encore Energy's projects. Call for a free consultation, 800-278-7455, 1-800-278-7455.
Finding the right Medicare plan? Oof, no easy feat. Kind of like those dances my granddaughter loves making me do. But then I found Walgreens Find Direct coverage. Lets you compare plans online, over the phone, or in person. Made Medicare shopping so easy. Plus, I found plans with low-cost copays. I can get down with that. When you need to talk Medicare, Walgreens is here. Start shopping today at walgreens.com/Medicare.
It's something you can do for the planet long after you're gone.
The Denver area will soon have the largest Colorado facility where human bodies will be composted, turned into soil, and used for planting.
If you're thinking about the very last thing you get to do with your earthly body, for many people, doing something that positively benefits the earth is really appealing.
Katrina Spade is founder of Recompose.
Doing composting saves over a metric ton of carbon per person over cremation or conventional burial. Also avoids the pollution of cremation.
Stephen Kaufman, CBS News.
A 5th grade teacher in northwestern Indiana who's charged with felony intimidation has agreed to stay away from the school. Police say 25-year-old Angelica Carrasquillo told a student at the school that she had a kill list of students and staff. She signed the no-contact order without objection Friday when she appeared wearing a green jail uniform in court. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
It's 11:05 at the Bay Area's news station, KCBS. Plenty of sunshine tomorrow, highs ranging from the low 60s at the coast to the mid-70s inland. Good evening, I'm Peter Finch. Here's what's happening. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has made her first public comment since her husband was brutally attacked at their San Francisco home early yesterday morning. In a letter to fellow congressional members Saturday night, the House Speaker wrote that 82-year-old Paul Pelosi's condition continues to improve. The letter says while the family is heartbroken and traumatized by the attack, they are grateful for the quick response of law enforcement and emergency services for saving his life. Paul Pelosi underwent successful surgery Friday to repair a skull fracture and serious injuries to his right arm and hands, according to a statement from the Speaker's office. Nancy Pelosi's statement went on to say the outpouring of prayers and warm wishes from so many in Congress is a comfort to their family and is helping Paul in his recovery. The attack on Paul Pelosi has put a renewed emphasis on the concerns over the rise in political violence across the U.S. KCBS's Mike DeWald reports members of Congress are facing a heightened number this year.
The investigation continues into what exactly led to the attack on Paul Pelosi.
Royalty.
Along the lines of the conspiratorial group QAnon. It comes amid a backdrop of violent rhetoric and misinformation. Jack Pitney is a professor at Claremont McKenna College.
Painting your opponents in the worst possible light, absolutely nothing new in politics, but with the conspiracy theory echo chamber, you have people literally believing that their opponents drink children's blood.
The Capitol Police say the number of threats to members of Congress has more than doubled from 2017 to nearly 10,000 last year. Pitney says the House Speaker is often a target of the violent rhetoric.
She represents in their mind San Francisco values, which they associate with all kinds of evil things, including communism.
Former Senator Barbara Boxer says she faced threats in her career, but nothing like what she sees now. She says social media amplifies the rhetoric.
And now it's easier to do it because of the ability to communicate so quickly and broadly with people of like mind.
Mike DeWald, KCBS.
Police in Berkeley are investigating an armed robbery that occurred this morning. The robbery happened just before 3:30 a.m. in the area of College Avenue and Derby Street. According to Berkeley police, the suspect was armed with a gun and was seen leaving the scene in a black BMW SUV. Anyone with information about that attack is asked to contact Berkeley police. Just ahead on KCBS, the impact of new restrictions on the Chinese computer industry. Right now, we want to check traffic for you. We go now to the KCBS Traffic Center, where we now find Frank Munich. Good evening, Frank.
Oh, good evening, Peter. And we continue to find this major problem at the very southern end of Sacramento County, just north of Antioch, southbound 160 at Sherman Island Crossroad. On Sherman Island, we have a crash involving injuries and as many as 6 cars. The southbound lane of 160 is completely shut down and one-way traffic control likely in effect there, with one direction being let through and then another. But we're seeing traffic at a near complete stop in both directions. Again, that's southbound 160 and Sherman Island Crossroad on Sherman Island. Problem being reported this problem is being reported on the connector, northbound 101 over to westbound 237 at places that in Santa Clara. We have an accident involving a car that went off the roadway and down an embankment. We now have emergency crews pulling up to the scene. On the right-hand shoulder, no indication the lanes are blocked, but there will be a bit of a traffic hazard as you notice all those flashing lights on the shoulder. Your next update at 11:18 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Partly to mostly cloudy tonight. Overnight lows upper 40s to low 50s for the most part. Tomorrow, plenty of sunshine, but a bit hazy with areas of morning fog. Highs ranging from the low 60s at the coast to the mid 70s inland. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS News Time is 11:10.